Perfect. Already. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Welcome to Salt Sports. If you're not familiar with Salt Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. Means we talking all sports, but only Houston. If you want that other sports talk besides the Texans, make sure you go to saltsports.tv. It is definitely about to be Rocks time with the Astros postseason. Shout out to Hector, and he's been dropping a lot of Dynamo content. So shout out to Hector holding that down. But we have some gentlemen from the round with us today, and we're going to get into this Panthers versus Texans pregame show, man. And this should be a very interesting game today. So I know that a lot of us are anticipating to see what happens. No Cam Newton, but hey, it should be good nonetheless. So who do we have joining us this morning for the pregame show, man?
Third Coast Sports TV, Winks in the building once again. Let's get it.
Already.
What's going on, y'all? It's Toxic City Titty, ready to roll, guys. Let's get it started.
Already.
What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Man Up from Man Cave Sports TV. I know we're talking Texans today, but I had to wear my Astros jersey for Hector Flores today.
Already, man. Like I say, shout out to Heck, been holding it down, man. Shout out to Spit, shout out to D. Dave, shout out to Ray, shout out to everybody who wasn't able to join us today, man. You know, it's all love. Like I say, so we got a few things we're gonna get into today. We're gonna see if we got joining us real quick. You know, we got to show some love to the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world because hey, without the fresh ingredients, there would be no motherfucking sauce. So let's see what we got in the chat. Josh McCarty always holding down, Wink holding down the chat and the stream. Car owner, what's the motherfucking deal? David Giroux, or no, I'm fucking your name up, man. Jordan, look at David J. That's what we gonna call you, man. DJ, that's your name. Jerry Sosa, what's the motherfucking deal? Houston B. Days, what's the motherfucking deal? Days, DeMarquis Johnson in the house, y'all. The Crow himself. Richard Snow, what's the motherfucking deal? King 88, what's the motherfucking deal? Dirty South Scout, David Hernandez, Reddy Hill, Be For Real, Broderick in the building. Shelby GT, what's the motherfucking deal? Professor Trio, holding it down somewhere. You know, he a national player, so he's somewhere in the country holding it down. Rick Moranis, what's the motherfucking deal? Luke Durry, what's the motherfucking deal? Tay Hill, what's the motherfucking deal? Thomas Weaver, James Harden, Tom Savage. Oh, stop the nonsense. D. Pritch, a.k.a. Texas Palace. If you're not following Texas Palace on the gram, you know, no, look, I'm going to do like some of them overly positive Texans fans. Well, no, you said something negative. You can't be a Texans fan. If you ain't following D. Pritch, you ain't following Texas Palace, you ain't no real Texas fan, man. Show some love. Make sure you follow Texas Palace on the gram, man. Rigo, what's the motherfucking deal? Voodoo Child, one half of the greatest moderating couple in all the land. H-Town Sports, what's the motherfucking deal? Funny Fly, what's the motherfucking deal? Rio, Balin, INF, Wise holding down. Shout out to the Wise, man. Look at him. Slept on the Wise. Forgot about the Wise, man. Can't sleep on the Wise, man. Holding it down. Arturo Beckett, what's the motherfucking deal? 80, what's the motherfucking deal? 335, the stenographer in the building. JP Johnson. Hey, Danny MTZ. Here's the deal, man. If I missed you, I ain't dish. We got a lot to talk about, and we only got a little bit of time to talk about it. So, let's make it shake, man. Again, as y'all know, we got the goals, so make sure you support the stream so we can expand this sauce, expand this flavor, man. Like I said, we're trying to bring y'all a lot more content. So make sure you go to streamlabs.com/saucesports and support the stream. But let's get into it, man. A couple of things taking place in this game that I want to address, that I want to highlight the round. We're going to start with Wink and work our way around, man. I think when we talk about key players, and we're looking at the opposition, know your foe, the Panthers. It's one guy on that offense that stands out significantly more than anybody else. And even if Cam was healthy, he would be just as much of a threat as Cam. And that's Christian McCaffrey, you know. And this guy, like other versatile backs this year, we've seen how the Texans' impact on the run game has significantly decreased. He's another one of those, I would say, dual threat, I guess if you're going to call it a dual threat running back, like Kamara, like Eckler was. They got away from Eckler in the Chargers game, though, because I think he could have done more damage if they would have stuck with the running game. But he's a guy that can hurt you in the passing game and a guy that can hurt you in the run game. What do you see McCaffrey's impact on this game being versus this Texas defense, who has kind of declined when it comes to stopping the run?
Man, he's a phenomenal talent, man. He's going to be used. I would say probably more so in the passing game, even in Kamara and Eckler were. I really think that he's not going to be able to run on us as long as we're protecting the edges. In between the tackles, I don't really see him gashing us, that much. He will end up having some good runs. I'm pretty sure he'll be able to cut back if somebody's not protecting the backside of the play. But that's a real way I really see him making an impact in the running game. If he's really just making dudes miss, guys are not, gap discipline in this game. Whether he stretches it or if he tries to run it up the gut. I mean, they could get significant, run some trap plays where they pull in the guards, they pull in the tackles, and if guys get out in space and if they make the right blocks, I think he can make the right cuts, to gain positive yards for the Carolina Panthers. But I think he's much more dangerous in the passing game when it comes to us because like I stated in my video a couple of days ago. If you haven't watched it, go check that out. But it's for me, if they end up flexing him out and if he ends up playing underneath, if they get him in on some out routes, some quick little zig routes, a pick route here and there, or if he checks and releases, I don't think anybody, with the exception of Justin Reid, which I have my concerns with him being able to cover him out of the backfield, due to he's been getting hurt the last couple of games, and his tackling hasn't been up to snuff the way we know it can be. So I really see a couple of guys really staying on him in the passing game at all times. I really think all hands on deck when it comes to McCaffrey, and I think we need to sell out on the run at all costs, the same way we did with Austin Nickel last week. We faced, some pretty good running backs this, since the season has started. We had Kamara right out of the gate. Fournette, he can get it going. He hasn't been injured. They just haven't used him the way that they should be with the Jaguars. We had Justin Jackson and Austin Eckler that we had to worry about last week with the Chargers. Now we got another serious test with Christian McCaffrey. Man, I don't think any other team can say that they played against the types of pass rushes we've already went up against and the types of receiving options and running backs thus far when you really think about what we've had to endure, week going into week 4 of the season. So I know Cam Newton is not going to be on the game. So I know in order to ensure that Kyle Allen doesn't have a lot of mistakes, they're going to have to lean on Christian McCaffrey more than they have in any other game. And I see him toting the rock anywhere between 22 to 27 times.
Very interesting. Like I said, I just saw a couple of very interesting names on the injury report while we continue this conversation. So, Kawan Short will be out. Dante Jackson, I thought was going to be who could possibly be a potential problem, he is out. So, 2 of their better defensive players are going to be out, and that's pretty interesting. And then what's his name? I think is questionable also. Who was it? He had, I think, a little bit of injury, McCoy. And then a minute he would be out for the Texans. But going to Tenny, man, looking at Christian McCaffrey, what he brings to the table, his versatility, his skill level, his talent, man, how do you see him impacting this game for the Panthers, knowing that they'll be relying on an inexperienced quarterback? And my fault, 'cause I said earlier in the week that he was a rookie, but he has so little experience, he might as well be a fucking rookie. In Kyle Allen. So how do you think that McCaffrey impacts the game today?
McCaffrey can impact the game big time, just kind of like what Wink was touching on as far as what we did with Eckler and how we should approach it going at McCaffrey. Now, Eckler isn't a household name kind of like McCaffrey is. Eckler had to pick up last year whenever Gordon went down. He's been a serviceable back for the Chargers. So we were capable of taking him out of their game and making them become one-dimensional. And we all saw that even though as shit as our defense is on the back end of protecting the pass, or defending the pass, I'm sorry, they won. I mean, they were able to shut down that run game and keep it from happening. I think they need to approach this game the same way. Because if you really look at it, McCaffrey in week 1 had 128 rushing yards. Week 2, only 37 rushing yards. Now, of course, now we got Kyle Allen in here, and of course, they're going to need to lean on the run more to try to get more production out of that offense. McCaffrey is just another one in a long line that this defensive front has already seen of good running backs. And I'm not just talking about this year. I'm talking about last year. So I may be reaching on this for some people, and it might upset them. But McCaffrey, he's good, but he's not invincible. So they really need to come into this game with that mindset. His impact can definitely change this game in favor of the Panthers. But, I mean, quite honestly, I don't believe in Kyle Allen enough, and we'll touch on that later. But I think that if you shut McCaffrey down and you can limit him to about 50 rushing yards and about maybe 40, 60 yards past or receiving, it should not be an issue today. McCaffrey should be the number one focus for this defense when they come in facing this offense. And in all rights, it should be, because I don't think the Panthers really have much else outside of McCaffrey that's top notch, top level talent like he is. So if you shut him down, the rest will follow.
Man, your thoughts on Christian McCaffrey and what he brings to this Panthers offense as far as his going against this Texas defense?
Man, to me, man, McCaffrey brings in one of those like hard-nosed trucking, run styles, kind of like an Adrian Peterson almost. And for what I've seen so far with him, he mostly likes to run between the tackles, so right up the middle and stuff like that. He barely goes out on the edge. Now, I'm not saying that he won't or he can't, but at the end of the day, I also think that that would be a number one way of trying to, get him out of his game, is to try to force him to do something that he don't normally do, or he don't do that often, is what I should say. So I think if we can do that, and we can not be fooled on the like you like to say, the tomfoolery of the pad of the not the pass. I'm sorry, of the I can't get it out of my head right now, but just to sit here and not go on the run pass option or the trick plays and stuff like that, I think we're gonna be okay with him, man. But because I made a prediction of him, if we can stop him not stop him, but slow him down to like maybe 70 to 80 yards, we'd be okay in this game.
Yeah, and I think the total yardage count is, again, like I say, he's not just a running back. He is a legitimate threat in the passing game. And again, he's a guy that can hit you with a home run if you get caught slipping, because he busted one for 76 yards last week. So again, like I said, he's a guy that can be a potential threat if you get caught slipping. So I want to stick to their offense real quick, and before we talk about Carolina, because they do have a couple of receivers, and their receiving numbers as far as their top two guys they're pretty similar to what we have going on. I think we just have more talent across the board, so we're able to spread it out a little bit more. But even then, I still don't think that we've maximized the potential of this offense with some of the new pieces, some of the injuries that have come and gone. I want to talk about Curtis Samuel and DJ Moore. And, because these are guys that contribute to the offense as far as the receiving game. And we know how our secondary has looked against anybody, anything. You saw what's his name come in here and have a decent first game as a rookie when that's something that should have happened. You saw how J-Joe has been kind of getting picked on week after week, playing that soft coverage. So we'll start with Man Up and work our way back. Man, what do you think about these two guys going along with the inexperienced Kyle Allen? Do you think that they'll have an advantage to be able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses that this Texas defense has presented, since the season started? I mean, you saw it against the Saints, you saw it against the Jags, and you saw it against the Chargers. What do you feel like Kyle Allen will be able to do with these two guys against this secondary?
I think, man, if he catch Jonathan Joseph, who I love so much, but if he catch Jonathan Joseph, playing off, I think he gonna light up like a Christmas tree, because we all seen how Jonathan Joseph, when he plays off, that he's not the same as in press coverage, or as in forcing this man towards the sideline and things like that. So I think he's gonna try to exploit those weaknesses. You know what I'm saying? And I do think, man, that with our secondary being a little iffy at times, I think that's the best way to put it. I think also too that with that being the case, I think that, man, Kyle Allen is going to try to eat as much as he can. He's going to try to eat so much that his stomach's going to explode. So I think what we need to do here in this situation is we need to play to our strengths. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just talking about the secondary. I'm not talking about the defensive line. I'll get to that later. And so I think that's what they're going to try to do to maximize their chances of winning this game.
And I agree. Like I say, we got to do something. I think it's about time Rack has to show something a little bit different, because, like I say, that whatever formula he calls himself putting out there, I mean, any and everybody can see that it's not working. 10 man, how are you feeling, man? What do you think about these two guys, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore? They're top two guys right now. And their advantage against this Texans secondary. I mean, we've seen this secondary kind of, I want to say, break more than bend. I think that is definitely the weak point of defense. But what do you feel like these guys can do against this Texan secondary?
I mean, they could have a good day. It don't matter. Like, we saw Keenan Allen go up there, 180 something yards in the receiving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Keenan Allen. Who are these guys compared to him? I mean, this guy's an established brand, established name in the league, and I mean, right now it really doesn't matter if we could shut down your run game. So, and I expect with the big day that Christian McCaffrey had last week, they're going to go back to leaning on him. If this defense just holds up against that run and forces them to start passing, yeah, these guys will probably post. It's very possible they can post 100 yards each. All right, it's not something that you can't look at our defense and just be hopefully admitting that, oh yeah, no, we're good. We just got to get it together. No, we're not good on the back end. We don't tackle good. I mean, this is what Tayshaun Gibson brings you, a non-tackling safety who's not even good enough to cover anymore. I'm sorry. Don't go point to the other games like, oh, these tight ends only caught this much. Greg Olson doesn't have to affect the game if his wide receivers are catching for over 100 yards. Why do you go to the tight end? Unless you're in red zone and you're trying to score, why would you go to the tight end? It doesn't make no fucking sense. Like, we have poor safeties right now outside of Justin Reid. Nobody's doing their job. J-Joe, for whatever reason, whether it be Rack or J-Joe's fault, is playing off the receiver, giving them tons of cushion. And let me tell you something. Since we're not tackling on the back end, when they catch it short, they go long. All right? That's what's happening right now. A lot of these chunk plays are coming from underneath routes that are going for long. And that's the bad thing about this defense right now. I would expect a big day out of the Panthers wide receivers, if not for the other points that I'm going to make later here.
Yeah, I mean, that is true. And the Greg Olson's name we haven't even mentioned yet. And this is a guy that you have to, in the words of Birdman, put some respect on his name. Wink, man, your thoughts as far as, Curtis Samuel, DJ Moore, these are their leading receivers, not counting Greg Olson. What do you think that will these guys find success against this secondary? Because, again, like I say, we've seen who was old buddy from the Jags, relatively no-name guy. I forgot his name, started with a C. He started kind of eating a little bit late in the game on J. Joe. They were going to him real heavy. No, not Chark. It was the other guy, like Colson or something. I can't even think of his name right now. Something. It was another guy, not Chark. But you've seen that teams have had success. Even guys that aren't really premier receivers have had success against this Texas secondary. So what do you feel like these guys will contribute for the Panthers in addition to McCaffrey?
Man, did people forget we faced Ted again week 1? You saw what he was able to do to this defense, right? Defense if the defense ain't creating the right kind of pressure, if they're not playing the right kind of coverage, if they're not in the right packages, matchups will get exploited. That's what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying, they do have the potential, to hit 100 yards each. They do have the potential to do that. Curtis Samuel ain't no slouch. You know what I'm saying? I done watched him play. I'm out here in Carolina. He ain't no slouch. We're going to get to Olsen a little later. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to exclude him from this. But, they got dudes who can get speed. They got dudes who can catch on the sideline, at any point on the field and can get past dudes. That's a problem. So I expect them to be playing the game as to where they're playing. I can pretty much bank on it right now. We're going to end up playing a lot of cover 2. We're going to play a lot of cover 4. You know what I'm saying? Dudes are going to be able to catch underneath. Dudes are going a lot of yards after the catch is more than likely going to be had by guys on this football team. Poor tackling, I don't think that gets solved until after this game. I don't see this situation. We're definitely going to have to be on our heels when we face the Falcons next week because this is the type of team that they can bounce back on if we don't have our stuff together. The fact that, if their running game is going well and they start baiting dudes in the play action, depending on where they're at in the field, if they have good field position, man, I don't see this being an issue. I see this being an issue for Romeo Crennel. If Kyle Allen is surprising this guy, and if he's stepping up in the pocket and he's making good plays, and this man starts gaining confidence throughout the game, what is Romeo Crennel going to do then? Yeah, I know what your record is against rookie quarterbacks. That's all fine and dandy, but don't act like those type of records haven't went the other way when the time is right. I mean, just not too long ago, we were 32-2, at the half when we have the lead, guess what? We blow that game against the Saints. So I'm not saying that, this is a game that it's for me. I'm really, even though I believe we're going to win, I'm on the fence about it, and I'm going to give this team their respect because Ron Rivera's their coach. He knows what he's doing. Norv Turner is the coordinator. He calling plays, and the fact that they were moving efficiently last week without Cam Newton, I know it was against the Cardinals, and I'm with everybody who's saying, yeah, the Cardinals was trash, but they still got playmakers that they got over there, and they was getting to them, and they still lost by 3 touchdowns. So I'm just going to say the defensive game plan is what keeps them in the game, period. If we don't game plan right, if we don't take McCaffrey out of the mix, and if we don't put Kyle Allen in a situation where he has to win the game with his arm, and great coaching just arrives for the Carolina Panthers, man, expect this game to be closer than you think. We should blow them out, but we ain't guaranteed because every time we think we're going to blow a team out, it don't happen. Blowouts always come when we least expect it.
I agree, and that's kind of. I mean, I'm kind of trending the same way. That I feel like this should be a blowout, but I haven't seen that killer instinct that we talk about. This team as a unit. There may be a guy here, a guy there, that display that instinct, but as a unit, there's somebody else who does the opposite and just kind of lets this thing fall apart. Let's kind of get into a couple other little things because, like I said, because I want to touch on a couple other points. We about we have a few more minutes. Well, we got a little bit, but. Because there's quite a few things I want to speak on. Let's get to the defensive side of the ball for us, more so focusing on what we bring to it. But a little bit of a lighthearted moment. You got the Reid brothers playing not necessarily against each other, but I think it's a very interesting story because I do believe the situation with Eric Reid impacted how Justin Reid got drafted. Which we benefited from, so I'm not tripping on that because we didn't have any picks that season, so I'm not really complaining. It might have fucked up Justin's money a little bit, but he'll be all right. He's gonna get paid when it's all said and done. But my thoughts are: is at this point in the career, Reid has been around for a while. The older Reid, Eric, but at this point in his career, would you say that going into year 2 that Justin Reid is a better safety than Eric Reid was in his second year? We'll start with Wink and then we'll work our way back around that. And then what do you just kind of expect? Do you think who do you think will be the better Reid brother coming out of this game also?
I'm going to ride with Justin Reid. I mean, the man has shown great instincts. The man has shown the ability to tackle at a high rate. He's really diagnosing plays, and he's dependable when you need him. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, he makes the game-winning stuff on the goal line, at the half-yard line, against Fournette to seal the game for the Houston Texans in a clutch situation. So, when we needed this man, he has come through. Now he's been down a couple of weeks, and I think he's starting to get his team together. With things that he has going through. I think he's dealing with some injuries that are preventing him, and it's clear that he has a shoulder issues somewhere. I'm not sure if it's a clavicle. I'm not sure if it's the inside. If he's dealing with any pain, but the pain is preventing him from being fundamentally sound. You can see it on the field. Right angles are not being taken. He's over pursuing. That's just not like him. But I think once he's able to pick his game up over the next couple of weeks, if he can find a way, that the pain is being soothed, throughout these games, then I think he can get back to the things that he does best. That's tackle at a high rate, that's make plays when needed, and staying with dudes and covering at a high level. We can depend on him. The man is good at reading and reacting. He breaks on the ball very well. He's a solid leader in that defense. And, I'm glad the Houston Texans gave this man a chance for whatever reason because, due to the situation with what's got going on with Eric Reid, he ain't violated no laws. He ain't doing nothing to nobody. He's just supporting of a man for something that's really real for lives of black people. Say what anybody can say whatever they want, act like whatever their cause, like it's just something to push to the wayside. But we've been pushed to the wayside for far too long, and news is tired of it. Point blank, period. But that's another situation for another day. This right here, I think Eric Reid has been a very solid option. I think he was very good when Harbaugh was there. I really think, a lot of things ended up getting exposed. They got Tom Sula to take over the defensive, over the head coaching job, and things went south. The guys got cut. He was in support of Kaepernick, and he gets cut, and Carolina gives him a chance. So yeah, he's making his mark, but he's not making the mark that Justin Reid is making for the Houston Texans. And as I can see right now, I mean, even 4 games into the season, to me, he was already proven to be better. And I don't even think Eric Reid has a season similar to what his brother did in his rookie season. So I'm looking for great things to go, and I hope he stays on the field and he misses no games, because we're going to need this man. And if he goes down, expects this defense to get torched. Case Tayshaun Gibson ain't proven a damn thing on the Houston Texans. He's a wasted signing in my opinion. We all said it. The dude sucks. He just hasn't been pinpointed yet. But if they start targeting him and they start realizing that, oh yeah, dude is an issue back here, we can take advantage of that. Trust me, Drew Brees took advantage of him a couple of times in the Saints game, and he was giving up long games to tight ends who they said that he could clear. He was better than the Honey Badger, right? I know everybody's gonna be like, oh, but the Honey Badger did this, the Honey Badger did that, bro. That's on a broadcast view. Look at the all 22 angles. It don't tell the whole story. Get some all 22 film, and then we can talk. Don't show me no broadcast view of any play going on in the NFL. Show me some all 22 film from the end zone. And then we can have a discussion about where these guys are matching up. The dude is missing tackles. The dude is not doing anything that we need from a safety. Run support, forget about it. Like, forget about it.
He plays to protect his body. He plays to protect his body. He don't play for us.
I'm just not sold on him. Can he show up later on in the season? Maybe. But as it stands right now, the first quarter of the season, not impressed.
And now, for those of you who are trying to vote, so I know we got some new folks, and I know we got some Panther fans in here. If you want your vote to count, make sure you put ! vote as one word, and then a space, and then whatever number you choose to vote. If you just put the number, your vote will not register. It will not count. So like I said, it's all love, whether you're a Texas fan or not. We embrace everybody. We will talk shit about your motherfucking ass, so you better be able to deal with it. Don't take it personal. It's all love. Hey, a little bit of friendly banter, but fuck the Panthers. But so my thing is this, though, man. My thing is this, and with the Reid brothers, and I agree with a lot of what Wink said. That Justin is definitely, you can see that it's something that's bothering him, but I give him his card because he's playing through adversity, even in that situation with Jacksonville. If it wasn't for him, that's a loss, and that's what people like. That's why I guess Texas fans. Look, you take the win. It is what's on your record. When it comes to the end of the season, if you're in position, it puts you where you need to be. But look at the game in totality, aside from just the final numbers. We're talking about a game of that's a 4 or 5 inch situation. Any other lesser secondary, lesser safety doesn't make that play, and you're talking about a 1-2 team possibly, and saying, well, this rookie came in here and beat you. And then a lot of people are back on the bandwagon. A lot of y'all were on last year when it was 0-3, and we still told you to chill. Hey, just because we had a soft spot in that schedule, and a lot of people were jumping ship, but now a lot of people are overvaluing some of these wins. Like I say, right now I'm playing everything tempered until I see. I need to see a dominant victory from the Texans before I start going all in. They have a solid win against the Chargers, but again, one of those situations where late in the game, who was it? If Benjamin makes that catch, we might be having a different conversation. Williams make one of them catches on the sideline, we might be having a different conversation. But Tenny, your thoughts, man, on the Reid brothers? Who has the better outcome in this matchup, and do you think in year 2 that Justin Reid is a better safety than Eric Reid?
Well, to be honest with you, man, I don't know any of Eric Reid's early year shit, so it would probably be at least a little presumptuous of me just to say Justin's better than him just off that bat. But I will say this: if you had to compare the two, Eric is definitely a passionate person. He's passionate on the field. He's passionate off the field. You've seen it in recent years where Eric has been very boisterous just off the field, but on the field he keeps that same fire, keeps that same flame alive inside his heart. Justin, on the other hand, this is a damn born leader right here. I mean, you come in, the team puts all their hopes and expectations on you. They basically say, we're going to allow guys to walk I'm not just saying Tyron. I'm saying also Kareem. Two guys who were proven leaders on this team last year. They just allowed them to walk. Now I know they did fight for Tyron. I'm not going to say that they did what they did to Kareem to Tyron, where Kareem just didn't get a contract offer. They just let his ass walk. So you get left with a guy in Justin Reid who has to take control, has to take leadership. He's in his second year in the NFL. I think, honestly, in my opinion, Justin Reid was one of the most pro-ready rookies that ever came in the league last year. And I would be brave to say within the last 10 years. I won't say anything further than that, but in the last 10 years, Justin Reid was probably one of the best players to come out of the college system, go straight into the pros, and be ready to go. And a lot of that comes from just having his brother in his corner. Now, who do I think is better right now? Justin Reid. Justin Reid has all the upside in the world. I feel like Eric's a little bit more on the back end of his career. He's probably already thinking about after. And of course, I mean, he's very active in his community. He's very active in other places' communities. I mean, he's a nationwide brand that stretches from left to right. But I do think on the field, Justin Reid is the future. It's very evident, even though he's dealing with the injury right now to the shoulder, he's still out there, man, and he's still a commander. He's a field general on the back end of that defense. And although it's doing bad, it's not doing bad because of Justin Reid. Justin Reid is absolutely playing left to right, trying to fill in those gaps, fill in those holes. So if the comparison had to come down to who I would choose, I'd still take Justin Reid all day, every day, and twice on Sunday.
And here's my deal, and here's where I can agree with that, because you got to think about, it's always that that follow up, that sibling, that gets to take advantage, or even if you follow a mentor, you can take advantage of their experience without having to go through the mistakes. And I think that's where Justin Reid does benefit. Having your older brother, he's the one that has to kind of go in and pave that new road. But he's the one that can also give you the map. Okay, well, don't go this direction, don't go that. This is what you need to know. Take some of my experience and put it on. So I would say that, in my opinion, that Justin Reid is the better of the two, but not without Eric Reid being his older brother. So you have to give Eric, his due on that. Man up, man. Your thoughts. In year two, is Justin Reid a better safety than Eric Reid? And who do you think is going to have the better performance today?
I'm going to have to second what Tanner just said there, because I have not been following Eric Reid that much. Yeah, the name is familiar, and you see a few things, because he is a good defender. But of course, I'm a Texan homer, so I got to say Justin Reid. Now, so because of that, because like I said, I can't. It wouldn't be fair for me to say which Watt brother is better when I don't watch TJ or Derek Watt. I watch JJ Watt. So, of course, I'm going to say JJ, you know what I'm saying? So, with that being said, though, I am going to sit here and say, man, I hope his shoulder is okay, because he is a good open field tackler. He is a good, you know what I'm saying, like he studies what you're finna agree to do pre-snap, So, it's one of those things to where if he wasn't on the other side of Jonathan Joseph or playing in the slide here and there like he has a few times before, we wouldn't. I agree with you, what you just said there, Honcho. We probably would be 1-2 or probably 0-3, because the game against the Chargers was kind of close. Phillip Rivers did, put the ball up there, to try to win the game. So if it wasn't for him in those games, man, we probably would be 0-3 at this point. So with that being said, I do think that Justin Reid, excuse me, Justin Reid is on his way up. And with him being a rookie last year, you wouldn't even know he was a rookie. If you was just starting to watch football, you wouldn't even known it, because the way his skills was, his skill set, I'm not going to lie, I knew he was a rookie, but at times I was like, damn, how long have we had this dude? Why ain't nobody picked, why we just not trading for him? Stuff like that. So that's how good he was. Now, you could, like you just said, you could credit it to his brother Eric. Could be, don't know. And his brother Eric said he never played his brother on any kind of professional level, just in the backyard playing ball and stuff like that. Like all siblings do. But at the end of the day, man, I have to lean towards Justin for what I've seen on a day-to-day basis. Now, it's not no knock on Eric because I'm not a Panthers fan, so I have not really seen too much of him play. So I can't knock on him. It's not a knock on him, but I have to lean towards Justin.
Okay.
Quick thing, Honcho.
All right, what you got there?
I want to say this since we were on the Justin Reid. Name me one other safety just in the Jacksonville game alone. There's no other safety. Die, Gibson, even if Andre Hale was still here. No one makes that tackle in that situation
No.
but Justin Reid. Not one of them. Not there's nobody
Yep.
we've had. Maybe a Glover Queen if we would have had him, but I can't even say he makes that play.
Dude,
Justin
I can
Reid.
Yep.
add on to that, Wink. I can add on to
Yep.
that. Gibson last year had a chance to goal line stuff Lamar Miller and couldn't do it. Lost him in the line.
Mm.
That's tough. That's tough. Okay. Let's jump on a couple of things. Like I say, some of these topics we made. There's a couple of things we want to touch on. We may or may not have time, so I'm gonna expedite it just a little bit. Let's get to the offensive side of the ball because I know that's what y'all want to talk about. And make sure y'all hit that like button. If y'all don't hit that like button, man, I don't know. JJ gonna get shook by Kyle Allen, you know, and he gonna score a touchdown. Something unfortunate. I ain't gonna wish no bad on nobody. Just hit that goddamn like button. Hit the dislike. I don't give a shit. Just show that you're active, nigga. All right, so a couple of things. Like I said, I want to talk about the offensive side of the ball. And I do want to give a brief shout out to Whitney because I did want to address the Whitney Merciless thing. If we have time, we'll come back to that because we all know how Whitney is balling. But looking at the offensive side of the ball versus this Panthers defense, and again, you know, this was kind of prior to the news that, you know, Dante Jackson and Short were going to be out. So I think this is a significant impact on the game because, you know, Jackson's a speedy guy. Is a guy you could possibly put on full or steals depending on how they're being utilized. But now with him being out, I think that enhances the Texans' deep play threat. I mean, it's already going to be tough to cover all the guys that they can put out there. And then Aminu who is out for, and I know a lot of people are happy about the Aminu. Aminu has like one sack. I think he had one the other game. He's been kind of making his presence known. I wouldn't say he's just disrupting a lot. He's making plays. So I know people want to speak on that, and that's all I'll get about him being out. And
So what are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
So this is where we're gonna go. We'll start with man up, man, and just your thoughts with looking at this, and we'll kind of lump them together, like I said, because we'll put the whole conversation because I was gonna focus just on the offensive line, and I don't know if anybody has seen anything. Are the Texans sticking with the offensive line from last week, which is the most sensible thing to do?
Yeah.
I hope they're not trying to get too smart for themselves like they like to do and try to change shit up again for a fourth week in a row. I haven't seen anything, so if y'all have seen anything, let me know. But my thing is this: the Panthers defense, again, like I say, you're missing a couple of guys now, like I say with Short and Jackson, versus this Texans offense. What do you see being the strength of the Texans? What is it that they can utilize, in your opinion, to kind of exploit the Panthers? And like I say, especially with this new news that Short and Jackson are going to be out, I think that does change up a couple of things. What are your thoughts on that, man?
I think one way to exploit it, man, it's gonna sound crazy and weird to y'all. I think put Hopkins in the slot. Not the whole game, of course not. Put him in the slot, you know what I'm saying, here and there. You know what I'm saying, to confuse them a little bit. Now, it might not work. I mean, excuse me, I'm sorry. That might not work. Apologize, take that back. I think what it's going to end up doing is confusing them. Not to say that we're going to go to Hopkins every time in the slot, but just confuse them a little bit because we all know Hopkins is a deep threat. Got them huge 5X hands and shit where he had to cut holes in the damn gloves to make the gloves fit and shit like that. And just in case that is needed, he's always right there. So I think that's going to be one good thing that we could do to maximize our potential in winning this game. Now I'm gonna go to a second one that I think that could maximize our chance of winning this game. I love the Deshaun Watson to death. Love what he's been doing. But I think if he can just drop it down in the flat to the running back or the tight end, we're gonna dominate if we could do that. Those are the two things that I think that can fool everybody on that Panthers defense to win this game.
You want Deshaun to kind of ease up, always looking for the big play, and kind of take what they give him on occasion.
Yep.
Can't fault that. But and I know a lot of people they get back and forth with Deshaun on that because you got to take the good with the bad. People will complain, oh, he holds the ball too long, but yet the best plays that you see from the plays that everybody loves come from him holding the ball. So it's like you just gotta accept it at this point. Like, I mean, I understand it, like, but it's like, okay, well, then if you complain about him holding the ball too long, don't be happy about these amazing plays that you see this man make game in and game out. Like, well, he holds the ball too long, but that play was when he held the ball for a little bit extra on that play. I mean, you just gotta accept that's just who he is, and if you take that away from him, then you gonna have every other quarterback that Bill O'Brien's ever had, for the most part. You put him in a glass cage, but it is what it is. Man, 10 man, what are your thoughts, man? Where can the Texans offense, where can they exploit this Panthers defense and take advantage? And like I said, a lot of say this should be a blowout. Where can they achieve that? What's the weak point in this Panthers defense that you feel that the Texans can try to achieve a blowout by taking advantage of?
Hey, first of all, I want to say, man, you hit the nail on the head. I have said for years now, Hop needs to be put in the slot, not just exclusively on the outside. Hop is the kind of wide receiver that is on the level of Larry Fitzgerald. If you ever watch a Larry Fitzgerald game, he's moved from left side to right side to the slot. He's motioned into the slot. Everything. D-Hop can do that. I think he can absolutely do that. You don't have to do it all game with him. You could do it here and there to offset the defense. To speak on about the Deshaun Watson, because I had a brilliant thing just pop in my head, and I'm sorry about my references because it's not on point with everybody that watches everything. But I'm an anime guy. Everybody gives shit to Dragon Ball Z and all that shit because people don't die. Everybody always gets brought back to life. It's fucking stupid. You don't understand what you fell in love with. It's the same thing with Deshaun Watson. You don't understand what you fell in love with. It's the reason you fell in love with Deshaun Watson is because he does hold that ball and he does go to make the play that nobody else before wanted to make. He looks for those shots. And now, partially that's part of scheme. We got a lot of guys that move downfield. So I just wanted to touch on that. If you're upset because Watson holds the ball too long, you don't understand why you love Watson. Period. But as far as how we can go about this, man, the Panthers defense is ranked 18th in points per game. They're ranked 4th in yards per game. They're ranked 2nd in defensive pass yards per game. And they're ranked 24th in allowing the rush per game. Now, that is how you attack them. Break their fucking back with Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde. It was just a tough game last week. The Chargers came in as a 10th ranked team against the rush. He was absolutely doing his thing and performing and doing what he had or what they had to against Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Now, I think this is going to be a redeemable week for them. Break the Panthers back with the rush and allow DeAndre Hopkins, Fuller, and Stills to get out there and do their thing. Now, I think one thing that's going to change from last week to this week is the success that Watson had with the underneath routes. Just the dumping it off to the tight ends, getting everybody involved. I think we're going to see him check it down more this week. And that's what I think is going to lend to this blowout win that we're going to have against them. I think that Watson is going to absolutely pick apart this defense that's ranked number 2 in the league against the pass. And I believe it to my core. I think Watson is that capable. I think the run is going to lend to that. And absolutely, when you get Duke Johnson with some passes from the backfield, it's going to absolutely destroy any game plan that the Panthers have for us today.
Ted, man, you're starting to ride in the chats now. There's an anime fight going on. People talking about Naruto and Naruto's a bitch and Sasuke over Naruto. Watson is Goku. It's a whole lot of stuff going on. But hey, whatever you.
I think he went Super Saiyan.
Yeah, Ultra Instinct 2 right now.
Man, I was just kidding, man, because I ain't caught up on that new Dragon Ball Z Super. They had a marathon last night. I fell asleep on it. I was
it's the truth, bro.
Jiren, whatever what his name was. I caught the end of it when right after Vegeta got
the dude with the bug eyes and the black and the red and black shirt. That boy, Jiren. Hey, that boy, the truth, man.
Yeah, I caught him right when he went autonomous. And so, he started going off after that. But your thoughts, man. Wait, what can this Texans offense do to exploit this Panthers defense, especially with, like I say, the new news of Short being unavailable and Dante Jackson being out? Where can the Texans offense take advantage of this and have a solid game?
For one, it's going to take this. Playing in the trenches the way they did last week against a legitimate pass rush, the Panthers' pass rush ain't nowhere near the Chargers, the Jaguars, or the Saints. That's number one. Are they a good run-stuffing unit? Absolutely. Are they a good pass rushing unit? Not so much. Playing in the trenches is going to be paramount in this game. It's going to show these dudes that we're able to push them around, that the Houston Texans O-line is getting better every week, and that going forward, people can't use the same excuse. And giving Deshaun Watson time, bro, that's the most deadly quarterback in the league. Now, if you noticed last week, holding on to the ball and his escapability, come on, man, nobody has escapability like that. I mean, he's, bro, like, he's Aaron Rodgers, Michael Vick type of elusive. Like, you don't even, like, I'm talking about dudes got their hands on him. He getting bumped around. He still finds a little crease to come out, dump the ball 53, to the tight end to go 53 yards. And that's ridiculous. He dumped the ball down a few times to Duke Johnson, who did work in space to get first downs last week. He was dependent on the tight ends last week. They were putting in most of the work. When it comes to the touchdowns, dudes were getting the ball all over the field. So I don't even need to discuss the requisite weapons that we have because they're better than anything that the Carolina Panthers have in their secondary. I love James Bradbury, but he ain't going to be able to do it by himself. Who's going to help him with D-Hop over the top? Who's going to help Brackett now that Dante Jackson is out? Who's going to guard Kenny Stills? Who's going to, if they put Kiki in the game, who's going to guard him? You gonna put Shaq Lawson on him? You gonna put Luke Kuechly on him? Bro, this recipe for the disaster. Who's your Sam linebacker? Oh, okay. All right. Okay, Dontari Poe is gonna be able to put in some work against Nick Martin. He's gonna be bro. Dude is a problem. Y'all can act like he ain't no problem. Yeah, okay. Unless they combo blocking them, and unless they're really feeling it, and if they're playing the way that they should, and if O'Brien is calling the right plays, they can take care of business exactly the same way they did. I think they do a better game against them, but make no mistake, if Gerald McCoy plays and if he's inside in nickel situations to go along with what Dontari Poe is able to do by himself and eat up space, I see no reason why some guys won't be coming off of the edge. Now, we got Deshaun Watson. Now, everybody wants to sit here and talk about Deshaun Watson holding the ball. For one, how can you throw the ball when your receivers are covered? And that means all of them. If you get no separation, how in the hell can you not hold on to the ball? He's trying to find a way. If he got and no. And some of these plays, just when you think it's over, it's not over, and dudes end up winning. So, like, everybody want to sit here and come on the sauce and tell us, oh, we can play and we this and we that, but then you want to have your cake and eat it too, and says your quarterback holds on to the ball too long, but he ain't putting himself in no real risk of being injured. So why are you worried about what he does on the field as long as he's producing wins against legitimate football teams? Which one is it? I don't get it. I mean, why bro, he's going to take care of himself. He's going to take care of himself. He protects himself.
Dude, every big play last week, every big play held the ball and made the play. People don't understand why they love him.
And only took 2 sacks to a legitimate pass rush who we were worried about last week. We go against the Jags. Look how that game happened. That was just, bro, the Jags always play us live. So I know Panthers fans are going to look at that game and say, oh, Gardner Minshew did this, and oh, we barely escaped. For one, bro, they don't know how the Jags. It's just like when the Falcons and Panthers play. That game is always, I'm out here in North Carolina, bro, if you ever watch the Falcons and Carolina play, that game is very similar to how the Jags and the Texans play games. Even when David Garrard was the quarterback, when all of these other guys were the quarterback, when Justin Blackman was on the team, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, this team has always played us hard. The New Orleans Saints, come on, we all know that was a coaching issue as to why we lost that game. The coach had a brain fart. He allowed Drew to get off and do what he did and took the whole steam away from what Deshaun Watson did on the field in the 13-second time period. They have nobody on the defense in the secondary who is going to be able to do anything and put Deshaun Watson in the spot where he's not going to put the ball exactly where he wants to. It's just not. The receivers are not going to be able to contend. We're too physical. We're too fast. We got too many route runners. They can end up making this game only if they coach it. Like, they have to coach excellent to even make this a close game against the Houston Texans. I mean, similar to what Stephen Rose said in his little hate week for the TCC against the other Panthers fans, if you guys have seen it. I think the game is going to be close in the first half, and I think we're going to pull away and we're going to get the victory. And more than likely, the third quarter, which I'm going to preach it every single week until I beat into the heads of Texans fans, the third quarter, once again, is going to decide the game for the Houston Texans. It's going to happen.
All right, so we got a few minutes left, so we're gonna make this real quick and snappy. There's a couple things I want to touch on that we ain't gonna get a chance to, but like I said, I want to speak on Whitney. I want to speak on Akins, and if he can, be an asset this game. But it's time. Y'all know what it is, man. Like I said, we got a little bit less than 10 minutes. We got about 7 minutes left, and I think the stream actually has about a 45-second delay or so. So we're gonna go quick with it. We're going to do the mark my motherfucking words and the score prediction all in one. Y'all know how it goes in the chat, man, and I'll try to get y'all jotted down. I want to know your mark my motherfucking words. If you don't know what mark my motherfucking words is, it is a bold prediction. Not know, well, Watson's going to go out and he's going to throw 2 touchdowns and have 207 yards. I mean, you got to go out on a limb. You got to make a bold prediction, something that's that's less likely to happen more so than more likely to happen. Put some respect on somebody's name. It can be offense, it can be defense, whatever it is. Bold prediction, and then the score prediction. Like I say, Sauce Nation, y'all already know how it goes, man. If you've been a part of this, everything that I'm asking around table, everything that we talking about around, you are a part of this conversation. You are the fresh ingredients that make the sauce, because the difference in opinions is what makes it all so wonderful. So, man, if we're asking these questions, we definitely want to read. Like I said, I try to catch in the chat when I can. But let's talk about it. So we'll start with Wink and then work our way back around, and we'll get everybody get a quick mark my motherfucking words and a quick score prediction, and then we'll get ready to wrap it up after that. So what's your mark my motherfucking words for this one, Wink? Okay. Oh man, I fried you, man. I fried you. Run that back real quick. I had.
Oh, me? Oh. Okay. I said Deshaun Watson has 2 consecutive back-to-back 350-plus yard games. He has 3 touchdowns. He runs in a touchdown. He has 60 yards on the ground. The defense has their 3rd consecutive game with five sacks or more. We forced 3 fumbles, recovered 2, and forced 2 interceptions.
Secondary finally gets an interception this game. That's how you feel? Because right now Mercer's the only one with an interception, right?
No, I think somebody in the secondary ends up getting an interception this week. If anything, I think a guy like Zach Cunningham or Dylan Cole, if he's in the right spot, can get an interception. I'm banking on one of those guys, one of those 3 guys to make it. Oh, we pinned them in the 5 special teams. We pinned them in the 5. We pinned them in between the 5-yard line at least 5 times.
Okay.
So we're going to have great field position throughout the entire game with Brian Anger.
That's a bet. 10 man, what are your thoughts, man? Mark my motherfucking words and score prediction. What you got?
Mark my motherfucking words. It has been a while, but Deshaun Watson will throw for 5 touchdowns in this game. And the rushing game is going to have over 140 yards on the ground combined. I'm sorry, man up. And we're going to drop a 50 burger on them.
What's your ultimate outcome? What's your final score prediction?
Let me see. Score prediction. I'm gonna say 52-16.
Woo! God damn, that's dominant.
Mine
That's
is
a
mine is
dominant
gonna
win.
be mine is gonna be 30 to 21.
30-21. All right,
Yeah.
man up, man. Give me your mark my motherfucking words and your score prediction. What you got?
Man, I'm mad at Tenny. He just took what I was just saying. I was writing it down too. See how it is.
He saw
Nah,
your
but
paper, man.
I see he over here looking. Anyway, I think I told all our receivers going to total at least 350 yards with at least 3 touchdowns. I know that ain't much, but I'm better go ahead and add what Tenny stole from me. But I'm gonna say Duke Johnson himself going to rush for at least 150 yards. Or
Oh,
2 TDs. 2
Oh,
TDs.
okay.
that's bold, bro.
Hey,
Like
that's a mark my motherfucking words right there,
Hey,
man.
I don't give. I'm going for it.
Go
I don't
in.
care. I'm
That's what I'm
going
talking
for it.
about. Go all in. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm going
oh
for it. I
my
don't care.
god. Like it's laughably bold. Like I mean, like it's. Oh my god. It's. Oh.
I don't think
Alright.
Duke has rushed for more than 60 yards.
I know, but I'm going for it. He said it's got to be bold, and I'm going for it. I don't care. I'm
He gonna,
going for it.
bust it
That's
open
bold.
today. Okay, so
That's
you
bold.
I'm
got
Y'all should
going
see I
for it.
fell out my seat. That's
you
how
got you
bold.
got 350, 3 TDs, Duke with 152 TDs. What's your score
Woo.
prediction on that one, man?
Okay, when I did my prediction thing, I said we're gonna win this game 25-13. I'm gonna go ahead and change that today. I'm gonna say we're gonna win 45-20.
45
Damn.
to 20. Okay. Let me run mine down real quick that I jotted down prior to. I say DW4. I'm seeing he's gonna get 3 and 2. 3 pass touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns. I think he spreads it out. Hop, Steals, and Fuller. They all he spreads the wealth today. Everybody gets a gift. And I think that Merciless ends up with 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles on his own right. That's what I think he's going to continue his campaign to be in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year. Ultimately, what it comes down to, I'm gonna give us. I'm gonna be in that range. I'm gonna be a little bit less than man up. I'm gonna give us 42 to 28. I think the Panthers get on the board late because Bill O'Brien, once you get a nice lead, he's gonna go conservative. Rack's gonna soften up, so Kyle Allen will be able to exploit a couple of holes in the defense.
I
But
think.
it's about that time, man. It's game time, so we're finna slide up out of here, man. Usually we wrap it up, but like I said, we on the dot. So, like I say, shout out to all these gentlemen in the round. Shout out to everybody who came through. And again, immediately after the game, we will have a post-game show. But with that being said, Sauce Nation, y'all the freshest motherfucking ingredients in the world. Y'all be cool like y'all be cool. Most of all, y'all stay saucy. We out. Catch y'all after the game.